Thanks for joining us. My name is Tim Sieski, and this is
Luke Sieski.
And we were just talking about a little bit of our country's history, and specifically the topic of taxation without representation, which really started in the 1700s. So Luke, can you summarize what we were talking about?
Sure. So basically back in the 1750s and 1760s, the government basically imposed taxes on the 13 colonies without any American representation in British Parliament, which enraged the 13 colonies, which eventually led to the Boston Tea Party, which eventually then turned into the Revolution, the American Revolution. In a summary, the taxation without representation means if I don't have a say in government, the government does not deserve any of my money.
Very good. So, what are some of the things that our government has in common with that of the British government of the 1750s and 60s?
Honestly, I think our government is nothing more than a joke, because there seems to be the overarching sentiment from people my age. We do not feel that we have a voice, and at this point we are removed enough from the mobilizations of the 60s and 70s to have never witnessed our government being actively influenced by the people.
So do you agree that wages are taxed for the common good?
We're supposed to be taxed for the common good, but honestly, it's hard to believe that considering the fact that 1 in every 9 bridges has a structural defect, as well as education not being funded enough, because we as a nation believe that education is important, but the tax dollars are not representing that at all. Look at how much it costs to send someone like me to college. Even in-state universities are crazy expensive.
That's true. So do you agree that representation for each state in the form of senators and congressmen and elected officials in the House of Representatives is fair?
I believe that we have representation in both the House of Representatives and the Senate, but I do not believe that they're doing a good job. What I mean by that is that those in the House of Representatives and the Senate don't really listen to what you have to say unless you have millions of dollars to wave in their faces.
So you touched on infrastructure and bridges. So do you think that we allocate enough money to U.S. infrastructure?
Considering how much money should be going into our infrastructure, I'm saying no, because according to the Transportation of America, 1 out of every 9 bridges in the United States, a grand total of 66,503 bridges altogether, has been found to have 1 or more significant defects.
Gotcha. That's important to address that. So, last question, and I think I know how you're going to answer this, but is there enough money that's allocated toward education? And tell me a little bit about what specifically we need to allocate it towards.
Okay. Education is something that touches the majority of people in this country in a way that not many other subjects do. If you know any teachers or administrators, you know they are consistently strapped for cash. America has an education gap that is unprecedented in our history, and the cost of higher education has become almost unattainable for people without significant aid. According to McKinsey and Company, the education gap in the United States imposes the economic equivalent of a parliament recession on the nation. In contrast, many other countries offer very low tuition for very high education because many people pay taxes, and education is one of the things taxes are supposed to pay for.
So, we were talking earlier about how education is probably appropriately allocated at the grade school and high school level because we all have access to that, public education. But what we're really talking about, I think it sounds like, is college. Because without college, realizing the American dream
Impossible.
is kind of a struggle.
McDonald's is not the American dream.
Right. Okay. All right. Are we good?
I think we are good.
Well, thanks very much, everybody, for joining us. This is Tim
and Luke
signing off.